So we're live, mate. How's everyone going? Welcome, Doggies fans. G'day. All Things Bulldogs, episode 49. Come jump on. Oh, we've got 6 people waiting. Say hello. Anyway, g'day, Daine. Welcome back. Oh, you got an AFL jumper on.
Yeah, mate. Switching codes. Can't trust these bloody rabbits.
Well, if I was going for the Rabbits and the Knights, I'd switch codes too, mate. But no, honestly, I've been supporting the Dogs for my whole life. Sorry for swearing. All right, so we've got the Origin Decider coming up in tomorrow night. Can't wait for that at Suncorp.
24 and a half hours.
24 and a half hours and counting down. We're going to talk about the Origin 3, but we're going to talk about the main game for this week, the big game, which is Bulldogs versus Cowboys. It's a much bigger event than Origin 3, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I thought it was the Rabbits Dogs.
G'day, Dave. How you going, buddy? Welcome again. Nice to see you, mate. So, look, we're going to have a good old chat about where the Bulldogs are at. We'll talk a little bit about the NRL. And we'll just see how things are going to go over this next few rounds. Who are the pretenders? Who are the contenders? Which teams do we expect to make the 8 and which ones we don't? It's going to be very interesting. And I think we'll get to round 24 or 25 before we know who probably 6 or 7 of the teams are going to be. And I reckon it'll still be alive come round 27. And hopefully the Dogs aren't involved in that. But what's your thoughts, Daine? Let's talk about Origin 3. What's your thoughts? Who's going to win and why?
I want to say New South Wales, but Queensland at Suncorp, I don't know. The heart says New South Wales.
Yep.
But reality is Queensland up there. They just they just grow an extra leg up there. So reluctantly, I'm going to say Queensland by 14.
14. Fuck.
Yeah. But the thing is, you've got this year, like, you've got 2 blowouts. One team each has destroyed the other team. Now you're going to Queensland, all level. It could go the other way. It really could, but yeah, I just think Queensland grow a leg up there, and I can't see them letting it go that easy. And I just don't think the Blues have the heart the Queenslanders do. That hurts to say that, but it's reality in my eyes.
It's reality, and there goes gravity.
Mate, you're on fire, aren't you?
Oh, here we go. All right, well, let's share it. But before we share it, I actually want to play something that might inspire you a little bit. So check. Oh, g'day. That's my sister, Sandra Byrne. How you going, Stump? Thanks for saying hello. This is me mate Daine, me one and only friend, and he lives in New South Wales because I got no Queensland friends because I hate Queenslanders.
Hey, sis.
Anyway, let's. I'm going to play something a little bit inspiring just to get us. So you might change your tune after this, Daine.
Is that the Burton Bomb?
It won't be the Burton Bomb, no. No, it won't be that. But I'm going to play this, mate. So
just before kickoff, trust yourself, trust your teammates, believe in yourself, believe in your teammates. When you see it, do it, and when you do it 100 mile an hour. No fear, no hesitation. These 2 teams have been in camp together for a week now. They've made promises. They're going to be with each other every step of the way. When these teams take the field tonight, they really will be brothers in arms. Thank you, Andrew. I'm out here on the ground at Telstra Stadium, right on the big blue emblem, hoping for a Blues night. A lot of tension in the air here tonight.
Anyway, that'll do from Gus. You like that, Daine? Did that inspire you? Did Gus Gould inspire you? That was in 2005.
I thought he looked pretty young there, but
Yeah,
no,
before he came to the
like
Bulldogs.
I like the idea of it, but Queensland do that every game, just about.
G'day, Brad. You'll be coming back on here again soon, mate. Don't you worry. We might have a threesome with Daine. What do you reckon?
Don't hurt me.
Yeah, Brad was good. I love listening to Brad. He gets fired up, and he's been a passionate fan of the Dogs and stuck true. And I pretty much agree with everything he says. Look, back to Origin. You know what pisses me off? Queensland are typically the same in this decider, not saying much. The fans, think that they have this little smirk that they know they're going to win tomorrow. And New South Wales are doing exactly the same thing that they always do. Come out thinking they're going to win. Even Gus Gould talking it up like he doesn't think Queensland can win. That first half, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. From a Queensland point of view, I think they were pretty poor in game one. The fact that they couldn't really put away a team with 12 men for 72 minutes. And the Blues sort of felt like they showed enough in that game to take a lot of good out of it, I think. And then, we smash them in that first half. They don't, we got a couple of six agains. I felt they were deserved early on. And then we smashed them. They were poor. They were 1% down in their forwards. We know what's going to happen tomorrow night, don't we, Daine? New South Wales are going to have to be very, very good to win that game. Very, very good.
I think they're going to have to be extremely good because I know Queensland, they'll be good. They won't play like they played last game.
No.
It's whether the Blues can go with them. If they can hang in there with them, they've got the strike power. They can beat them. It's not like they're completely out of it. I just don't like playing Queensland in Queensland as a decider.
Yeah. Well, we won it in. We come back from 1-0 down in 2005. Joey Johns, he's probably only really great series he had as a halfback for New South Wales. It was the only time, and we won the decider, won it quite convincingly. And there was just something about us that game. We're pretty dominant game one in the following year. Should have won game two, got some lucky calls, and then Darren Lockyer pulled it out of the fire, and then we lost game three. And didn't win another series for 8 years. So it's funny. I love Phil Gould's final word, but nearly the whole time he was doing it, we lost pretty much every series.
Well, as the confidence grew a little bit after that, now it's gone through the floor, mate. So, yeah, thanks for that. No, I think it should be a good game. It really should be. To be honest, I just hope the refs don't decide the winner. As long as they're fair and consistent. That's something they've lacked this year is consistency. And that's the ref and the bunker. If they can ref it, let it go, let it play, and both teams get, the same sort of opportunities, I'm laughing. I'm happy. I just don't want the ref to decide the winner. And so many games lately, the ref decided the winner.
Well, it's something I've talked a lot about. I spoke about this in the media watch last week that they want the ref to put the whistle away in Origin and they want the ref to put the whistle away in grand finals. Yet they seem to, and then the refs do it, and then they come out and they be inconsistent in the NRL, but then they put the whistle away when things get tight in a game or in golden point, and then everyone has a big big carry on about it. I guess it's the inconsistency which is the most frustrating thing. But as I said a lot last week, I blame the NRL and I blame a lot of the media and the commentators for actually being so hypocritical and wanting it both ways all the time that they actually put pressure on the NRL to act. And then when the NRL does, they soon realise they don't like it. Like, you just got to listen to Madge Maguire talks about being in glass houses. Well, I think everyone's in a glass house, fans included, when it comes to rugby league. I just hear so much criticism and then praise and for the same things and then criticism for the same things. You know, Andrew Johns doesn't want 2 refs anymore. Before he wanted 2 refs years ago. You know, like they just chop and change. They just go from one side to the other. No wonder everyone goes crazy at the ref. Because
they've got the hardest job, mate. They've got
the worst frigging job. I used to do it in soccer, and I had no problem with it because there's a lot more clear cut in soccer.
Yeah, not me.
Way more clear cut.
I've refed a couple of muck around games and stuff, and that's enough for me.
Rugby league, yeah. Imagine being a rugby union ref.
Mate, blokes would when I was reffing, blokes were taking blokes out, and I'd play on, play it on,
play on.
I think I blew 2 free kicks the whole game.
All right, well, let's look at this. I'm going to share this on the screen. We'll bring up the team list. What do you think about the teams for game 3?
New South Wales, they're going to miss Latrell.
All right. So we've got Walsh, Cobbo. Gagai comes into centre, the hammer. Valentine Holmes pushes out to the wing. Dearden and Daly Cherry Evans. Similar forward pack. You got Cotter, Collins. Capel goes to the second row. Ben Hunt at hooker. Nanai, Carrigan, Harry Grant, Mo Fodawaika, Felice Kafusi, and Kalen Ponga brought in to the bench, the 18th man, Trent Liero, Brendan Piakura, and Reid Marnie, who I thought would have been a good inclusion into this game if he got a chance, but it doesn't look like he's going to play.
Is he a Queenslander?
Yeah.
That's why I don't
know. You hate him even more.
Mate, I didn't think I could.
You didn't think you could hate?
No.
Oh, mate, you'll get eaten up in here. Let's say hello to the people who have come on and Stumpy said, from me, not a Queensland supporter of all. No. Stumpy's born and bred in Wagga. She's actually Queensland coach of the veterans over 65s, I think. She got the job in hockey. So a bit of blue blood there. I got none of it, but they all did. G'day, Scary. How you going, mate? Brad reckons Suncorp's a different beast, 100%. Yep. Scary, is Preston back this week? He is, mate, and we'll talk about the dog soon and get back to that. G'day, Pete. Hi, boys. I'll try and join you after dinner. You'd be brave to try and pick the winner. I think New South Wales can do it. Just. Thanks, Pete. Oh, Timmy's back. I haven't seen Timmy for a while. He loves Daine.
It's not Daine.
He's got to get Daine on there a bit more. Good evening, Mick and Diane. Up the Blues.
I answered a Diane more than I answered a Daine, so it's good.
We missed you, Timmy. Welcome back, mate. Yeah, sorry, it was the autocorrect.
Yeah, I get Diane. It's been called Diane more than I get Daine.
Timmy asked, do you think we can cover the loss of Max King? Well, I think Max King should have been playing for New South Wales, so I'm surprised New South Wales have covered for the loss of Max King or the non-inclusion. But
there's a simple answer is no.
Oh, we'll get to that. We're going to talk about what needs to happen in that space, but let's look at this. Losing me way. We've got the New South Wales side. So the Bradman Best comes in for Latrell Mitchell. I think it's the right move. I think he's the right centre to bring in to the game. I
Like-
like what he's
like
going
for like. Big body, hard runner.
He's deceptively quick as well.
Yeah,
He's not slow,
and he's a big body.
and he hates
The- the-
Queensland.
The difference between him and Latrell is, I don't think he's got as much ability, but I think he tries 20 times harder.
He tries
He'll die
harder.
trying. He'll die trying, mate. He's a trier rather than best.
Well, typically
that's
for
what you
Latrell,
need.
he put in great effort for 4 or 5 weeks. Played well in Origin. Improved his effort areas. South's really appreciated his communication in defence at the back. Obviously, that's something that, and they had that extra small player, but, his body can't handle it. It's just proven not to handle the rigours of it week in, week out. Just something always happens. But I suppose this is a brand new type of injury, and it's the same one that Kalen Ponga got. So, which is a real...
How long is he out for?
Oh, I don't think he'll be back. I reckon... Look, if Souths win 5 or 6 of the games, it comes to the last 2 rounds and they've got to beat Penrith and the Storm or something, or Penrith and the Roosters, and he's 75% fit, he might come in, but I think we'll see Souths win a couple of games and get blown off the park in a couple of games because they're basically just going to be sort of out of it. Look, they win this week, they're gonna compete hard, but lose another game or two and they'll have some scores put on them, like most teams in that situation. Once it gets tight. The good thing about Canterbury is I expect they're going to be in the fight and in the grind for every game for the remainder of the season, and that's really, really good, whether we end up making it or not. But let's look at New South Wales. We've got Dylan Edwards, Brian To'o, Bradman Best, Critter, Lomax, Jerome Luai, Mitch Moses, the man of the match from Game 2. Jakey Trebojevic, he's the captain. Reece Robson, Payne Huss, Liam Martin, who's been probably the New South Wales best over the first 2 games. Angus Crichton, who was our in the top 3 players on the field in the last game. Cam Murray's back, which made a huge difference to us. Connor Watson's going to prove whether he's Origin material or not in this game. Isaiah Yeo, Mitch Barnett, which I think has been a really good inclusion for this New South Wales side. His game against the Bulldogs was absolutely the best game I've seen from a prop forward all year. And Spencer Leniu, who has shown from the second that he got onto that field, even in Game 1 and Game 2, that he should have been in that Origin side 2 or 3 years ago. Matty Burton gets the money for 18th man again. I think it was a good decision to drop Hamali Olakau'atu. He'll get his chance again. I just don't think having that big body on the bench coming on, trying to find a spot for him on the edge, I just don't feel they utilised him well enough, and I don't feel he got himself he just found it hard to get into the game. He's probably someone who'll benefit if he gets to start on an edge.
I agree. I agree with that 100%.
And gets to play over a series and develop combinations. If you had Tommy Turbo fit and firing and you had Olakau'atu and you had that combination there, I think that would be all right, but it just doesn't suit us at the moment. I think it was I like the look of our bench a bit more with Mitch Barnett there. I'm still not sold on Connor Watson. He's an effort player. I felt he was really good in the games he played for the Knights, like the 7 games he played in 3 years. He's just always got that bad luck with injury, and I just hope that, apparently he's one of the best blokes going around, so hopefully he can be that. To me, he's like one of those players that you'd think that Queensland would pick. You know what I mean? He sort of reminds me of someone like that. You know what I mean?
I would have put McInnes in there.
Yeah, I like Cam McInnes, but I think they've got Connors
on one thing.
a little bit faster.
The only reason I'd have Cam McGuinness in there is because he just tackles. He tackles and tackles and tackles and tackles. And then when you think he's done, you'll tackle a little bit more. So
Right. Well,
that's what I would have had. Watson wouldn't have made my second team, but that's just a personal thing. Good player, don't get me wrong.
Timmy reckons New South Wales will win by a point. Thanks, fellas. I have an auntie, Daine. Ross Palmer, g'day, Ross. Welcome, mate. And I agree with you. Munster's a bigger loss for Queensland than Cleary is for New South Wales. Yeah, Munster's. I was actually watching Wally Lewis games here this week, and I watched a Munster game late at night, and he is the Wally Lewis of the modern era, Cameron Munster, when it comes to Queensland. He just, in Origin, things just happen when he's got the ball. So, yeah, big, 100% agree, Ross. Timmy says, after looking at the draw from the 5th to 13th, every game could come right down to the last round fixtures with positions in the top 8. Can we read too much into the Sharks' performance against the Tigers? Good question, Tim, and I'll get back to that shortly, mate. And he also says Mitch Barnett is versatile. He can cover back row and front row. Well, he did that for the Warriors against the Dogs as well, and they lost nothing on the edges when he went there. Like, they had so much losing their whole back three. The Dogs were lucky to win that match. They had everything go against them, the Warriors, and but we won. We beat them. That's all there is to it.
They were good. The Warriors were good. That was the most gutsy effort I've seen all year by a team that haven't really hit the heights of what I think they could. They haven't been playing their best football this year, and to put in that sort of gutsy effort, they'll take a lot from it, I reckon. They could be hard to beat.
Well, this is what I want to talk about when we get to the draw, and I think going on Tim's point, 5th to 13. Look, the Warriors and the Broncos Warriors are going to 19, Broncos are on 18. They lose 2 games, they're probably gone. But they are both have a bye in hand, I'm pretty sure. And both sides are 2 sides that I think will make it into the top 8, which means there's 2 teams in there right now that have got to drop out. And, and Tommy Turbo coming back into Manly really adds intrigue to it. Same with Ponga coming back to the Knights. They're going to win. They're going to win a couple of games. They're not going to go on a big lose and run. They'll probably lose more than they win, but they will win some games and they'll have an upset, and it'll congest.
Just wait.
It'll congest the 8 more.
How long are they going to be in for? That's the story.
Well, even young Bradman.
You can't read too much into it, mate, because these players they get injured like multiple times a year.
They do.
Turbo's not done with his injuries yet. I hope he is. I like him, but
I really like the way he played on the weekend against the Knights. The balls he got out, 6 try assists. Like, that was phenomenal. But the Knights just stayed compressed. They're just off the pace again.
They're
just
off it. I reckon
their best and worst is too far away.
Way too far away.
But I still think they've got enough talent in their squad to beat anyone.
They could.
It's another. Timmy's raised some really good points. Thanks for your contribution tonight already, Tim. The draw between Warriors and Manly is interesting. Yeah, well, Sean Johnson cops that kick from what's his name, the Aloye, who's trying to just charge down the kick, the field goal, just barely clips him. It's still a penalty in my opinion, regardless. But he stays down, gets the penalty. They draw the game. You know what I mean? Doesn't do that, and I think the Warriors had to come from a fair way away. Like, that 1 point for both sides could be very telling in the end. Does it mean Manly miss out by a point? or does it mean the Warriors get there by a point? You know what I mean? But let's finish off talking about New South Wales and Queensland. So, yeah, I was saying before, Daine, New South Wales commentators, it's like they a frigging goldfish or something. Like, they just forget the amount of deciders that they've thought New South Wales were going to win up there. And
that lasts the whole 20 minutes when Queensland come out and blow them off the park in the first 20. Seen that many a times.
Yeah.
I hope it's not like that tomorrow.
I don't think it will be. I think, but I think Queensland realise having that extra small player there. They're going to get New South Wales are going to get called offside for being too eager off their line. Queensland are going to put New South Wales on their back a few times more than they did in game 2. The halfback will have opportunities to do stuff, and then Kalen Ponga coming on, running through the middle, like he's going to cause trouble for New South Wales out there. But in saying that, the Blues do have a team full of players that are aggressive, that work hard, and don't give up, and that is something. From that point of view, I think it's the scores are going to be close, and I think they can get it done. I really do, but it's going to come down to.
I think Mitch Moses is playing in career best form. I think I've said personally years ago, God, I wouldn't put him in the Blues team. Wasn't happy when he went in, and he proved me wrong. He's playing really good football. And I think if he can play another game like last time, New South Wales can win. If he doesn't step up and goes missing, they'll get belted. They need him to kick well, do everything that he's been doing well. I think he's a major, major part. Which obviously that comes down to as well forwards. If forwards aren't going forward, well, your halves, rushed. So
the thing about Mitch Moses, he's a bit like Darren Lockyer when he's rushed. He's very good at avoiding a rushing defense, and he's also very good at getting kicks away under extreme pressure and kicking them long. He is probably the two best kickers in the game are Nathan Cleary and Mitchell Moses, and as far as accuracy and length, Matt Burton gets them on length, and Matt Burton's not too far away on accuracy as well. And both of them have probably got better short kicking games than Matt. But Matt, still, the amount of tries he's set up with kicks is phenomenal.
I'll tell you who can kick a ball. It's Jack Whiten. I didn't realise he could kick so good. I knew he could kick, but
he's playing 5'8" for ages, same as Latrell's been doing a lot of kicking for Souths as well before he got injured.
Yeah, he can kick too, but Whiten, I knew, like I said, I knew he could kick, but he kicks a long, long ball.
Yeah,
like he would be sitting up the top of the bigger kickers.
He's up there.
Still can't do the Burton bomb.
It's about consistency and how long they can do it for over 80 minutes and that sort of stuff. And that's what it takes halfbacks a long time to develop that. G'day, Lakeside. Never seen Slater under so much pressure with the comments he's making. Yeah, well, Billy's been... Well, we all know Billy's an angry little bastard who presents and articulates like an impressive, calm... he is so devout. He wouldn't sleep much. He fucking works hard. He does his homework. He's meticulous. You can tell that. You can tell that in games. You see that where they used to do that run around with the amount of time Slater would score that try coming from one side to the other for the inside ball wrapping behind. That stuff doesn't happen naturally. It happens from meticulous preparation and knowing everything your players around you are going to do. And I really think that he was rattled by that scoreline because he didn't expect it, and he knows that he said all the right stuff to his team. preparation would have been just as good. They just were outplayed. There was a bit more at stake for New South Wales being one down in the series, and we just got possession and made them pay. And I think that's what's rattled him. I think the glass houses stuff is just theatre. You know, every fan in Australia is in a glass house when it comes down to it. You know, when their thoughts on referees, their thoughts on all the stuff I go on about, I'm in a glass house too. So is Madge. Everyone is. So it's, yeah, I agree. Lakeside, he's under pressure, but he's been under pressure before. He's an impressive coach and was an impressive player, and I hated his guts. I hated Billy Slater, and I still do. Fuck you, Billy Slater.
Yeah, I don't like him either.
No, I do like Billy.
I don't.
I think Billy. I heard Billy liked a bit of, you know. I think one of his favourite movies was Brokeback Mountain. But that's all right. I enjoyed it too. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off track there. This lemonade might have vodka in it. With Cleary missing huge chunks of this season, the Panthers have looked more vulnerable. I haven't checked the team list for Panthers versus Dolphins game, but they may rest their origin players. Timmy, mate, you're on the ball, mate. Penrith, I think, have lost 6 games. The Penrith Panthers have definitely been vulnerable. Their stocks are thinner than they've ever been when it comes to the amount of youth they've had to bring in, and not having Cleary there as well. So they are vulnerable. I think, you know, you go take a bet on them now to make the grand final. But I think a team's going to beat them this year. I just don't know who it is. Roosters are in the prime position. I think the Storm are scary considering how many players they have. Their top 30 isn't as strong or as much depth as it's been for a long time, but they have been unbelievable, winning without Munster, winning without Hughes half the time, winning without Pappenhausen half the time, and their forward pack isn't the most impressive forward pack in the game anymore. So the fact that they're first, that should be scary. That should raise alarm bells for every other side. And we know Bellamy can coach. So Lakeside, I agree with the Slater comment. He's an angry ant. Yeah, well, I could have just left it at that. I should have probably. What's your thoughts, Daine?
I think Panthers win. I don't see a team getting close to them come finals time. If they're fit, obviously a lot can happen. I just think they're the best team. I think they're the best coached team. They've got the most depth. I said last year I thought they were going to get beat, and they never looked like getting beat. And I think this year,
well, they did in that grand final.
The Roosters on
I didn't think
paper,
they were going to win that grand final, mate, when they got behind 22-8 or whatever it was.
Yeah, well, but again, they're never dead. They just keep on going. Roosters on paper, I've never seen such a stronger team through Origin. They line up at Origin time, and it looks like they don't have anyone missing. I don't know how they're under the cap. I have no idea. We won't get into that. But again, I don't.
We will get into it.
No, it makes me angry.
Let's put it this way. Gus says they're under cap pressure. They're letting $3.5 to $4 million leave next year.
Yep.
They haven't replaced it with anyone really, except a rugby union player. And apparently they're under. So if they're under pressure now for next year, how are they under the cap now? Like, are they upgrading all these youngsters next year? Are they giving all these youngsters some more money? Or
they're clearly never been under the cap, mate. It's pretty evident when you have a look at the internationals and, you know, like representative players that they've got, whether they be New Zealand representatives or New South Wales, Queensland, whatever. You can't. It's not possible. And it's been like that for years. And I loathe them. They are my most hated team ever.
From a South Sydney supporter.
And it's not even to do with that. It's got nothing. Well, it does actually, but
I think I hate Roosters more than I hate Souths, and that's saying something.
Mate, I just can't stand the Roosters. I just can't. I don't like how they can get away with what they're getting away with. Everyone knows it. And then you watch these other teams struggle. And then they have issues with their salary cap and they're sitting down at bloody the bottom. You know, like it's happened multiple times. So, no. Anyway, enough about the Roosters.
All right, well, let's go. You reckon Queensland by 14? I reckon New South Wales by 4. But let's see how it pans out now. We're going to go straight to the Sunday night's blockbuster, Cowboys versus the Bulldogs. Now, currently the ladder. The Bulldogs are on 24 points, sitting in 5th position, plus 65. Cowboys in 8th. Cowboys still have a bye in hand, which means technically they're on the same as the Bulldogs, but they're only got a 1 point differential with the third best attack in the comp, or third best attack, and their defense is the worst in the top 8. In saying that, they've listed a team which still looks pretty strong on paper. Scott Drinkwater, Kyle Felt, Jackson Purdue, who had a really good debut. Vilami Valia, who was going to be the next big thing at the Raiders before transferring over there. I think Braden Burns, who I'm sure will have a blockbuster against his former club. Jake Clifford, another Newcastle junior. Chad Townsend, Jordan McLean, Jakey Granville at hooker, Jason Taumalolo. They've played better since he's been starting at prop. Just think he's got a bit more, that foot movement. Helam Lukey, who is a very good player. Very good player. Had a bit of bad luck with injury. This guy's Fino Fuaki. He's going to the Dolphins next year. Sam McIntyre, who's a good, tough toiler. Harrison Edwards has come from the Bulldogs for an opportunity. Got into the Cowboys top 30. Thomas McHaley, who had a really good preseason and they've sort of kept him waiting and he's come out. Jamal Shibasaki, he's a big boy. And Griffin Neem, who needs no introduction. On their extended bench, Thomas Duffy, Sammy Valamai. Oh, actually, Sammy Valamai is the one who came from the Raiders. I got that wrong. Viliami Valia is not him. I got that mixed up. Valentine Holmes backing up from Origin. Tom Dearden from Origin. Jeremiah Nanai, Reece Robson and Ruben Cotter. Will any of those players back up from Origin? I think, being that it's a Sunday, I would expect that all of those players will play unless coach thinks that he needs to give one of them a break or whatever. But we look at the Bulldogs, Connor Tracy, Jacob Kiraz. Kiraz is the number 1 stats performer in the NRL at the moment. He is an absolute beast. He's 2nd or 3rd in offloads. He's 1st in run meters, about 3rd in carries. He's just an absolute beast. Bronson Cherry, Critter, backing up from Origin. Blake Wilson, Matt Burton, who's 18th man in Origin. Toby Sexton. Josh Curran's come off the bench. Don't know if he'll start. I reckon they'll start with Poasa. Reed Marnie, Samuel Hughes, Viliami Kickout. Jacob Preston returns from injury. Kurt Mann, who's such a good player for us, and we missed him after that really poor bloody crusher tackle he did. Bailey Hayward, who's been just toiling really hard as that small lock. Poasa Faiamasili, Curtis Morin, and Lipoy Hopboy at number 17. The players they're going to bring with them to Townsville, I believe, will be Harry Hayes. I think Drew Hutchison will be on the plane as well. I don't think Hayes Perham will be coming. I think he will stay and play New South Wales Cup. I think Gerald Skelton will get on the plane. And I don't think Chris Patolo or Katonga, I think those two will stay in New South Wales Cup and not jump on the plane. That's my thoughts. Look, whichever team the Cowboys run out with, they're going to field a strong side. They're at home, 6 p.m. on a Sunday in Townsville. It's going to be a lot warmer than the Bulldogs have experienced. Currently in New South Wales, it's pretty cold. It's freezing in Brisbane at the moment.
It's
for
freezing.
Brisbane weather. It's
Absolutely
freezing down there.
freezing.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
So it's going to be a shock to the system. But 6 p.m. is a nice time to play. I just can't wait for this game. I'm nervous, as we should be. This is like the game starting now. Now, can Canterbury cover the loss of Max King? What's your thoughts on the Bulldogs versus Cowboys, Daine?
Well, I think personally, I think your last game was Warriors. Was it Warriors?
Yep.
And the game before that was the Sharks. Am I right?
Yep.
I'm not missing one. Yeah, I don't think you've played your best football at all. I think you were not good at all. Probably the worst you've played all year. But you still won. So I don't know. It depends on what Cowboys turn up. They've been inconsistent this year too. So Max King's a big loss. I don't think you can cover him, but you can minimise the loss.
Yep.
Depends on who comes through Origin. I honestly think the Cowboys, if they play it near enough full strength, I think, providing if the Dogs come out playing the way the Dogs were playing a few weeks ago, they'll win. If they come out like they played the last two games, I think the Cowboys will hurt them badly. I hope I'm wrong, but I think, I haven't thought the last two games have been impressive at all. The two Golden Point games, and I think, very lucky to get the win. Look at the Warriors. They were they were down and out, and you struggled to put them away. So it's going to be hard to put a team like North Queensland if they're peaking, if they're going well. But again, they're so inconsistent this year as well. So
I think the Cowboys
it's a very,
defend.
very hard game. It's a very, very tricky game, especially backing up after Origin.
Mm.
I think if both teams at the best, I'd love to see that game because you guys play a really good style of football. I like it. Hard to beat, very hard to beat. But then you look at the Cowboys. They've got a few quick players and nice moves there. I like when Drinkwater starts running. They can get him into the game.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's a very good player. Very.
What do you reckon about this guy, Josh Curran?
Freak. Really good. He's been sensational this year.
Yeah, I think Origin awaits this kid. I really do.
Has to. How old is he?
Born in 99, so he just would have turned 25, I think.
Yeah, he's sort of in that sort of range, isn't he? He's there. The way he's been playing.
Yeah,
I think the big in for you is his name, second rower,
Jacob Preston.
He's a big in. Massive. He's one of my favourite players. Fancy that. One of my favourite players being a doggy.
Yeah, well, if you're a rugby league tragic and you love a player like Cameron Murray, you're going to be drawn to a player like Jacob Preston.
I just love his effort, mate.
He's only played 29 games, scored 11 tries in 29 games. Tackles at 97% efficiency on an edge, which is, but people don't realise how good that is to tackle with that efficiency on an edge. He's been averaging, hasn't played as many minutes as he would have liked this year.
I'm surprised the Roosters haven't got him.
Well, they had him.
No, I'm surprised they haven't got him.
They had him. Gus Gould, Scott Woodward's actually the bloke who's been, they call him the analyst, and he's on SCN, and he's the advisor to Phil Gould on who Phil should go out and target as far as young talent, which players, based on what they do and their stats and their efforts, and he looks at what they do as far as support, all this other stuff that a lot of people aren't looking at, where they run, how they get to their front, how many minutes how much stuff they do per minute, how many support plays they run, how many decoy runs they go, just they're all the effort areas. He's just all over it. And he's like, you need to get this young fella from the Bears, North Sydney Bears, the feeder club to the Roosters. And, Gus said he was the biggest surprise at pre-season last year, and he just hit the ground running. And he apparently caused a little bit of a few players that come to the Dogs thought they were going to start ahead of him, and they didn't. And they got a little bit pissed off about it, and it caused a bit of a ruckus. And those players are no longer with Canterbury. But, he just works his ass off. He makes 46 tackles, misses 3, makes 41, misses 1. Plus, he does his carries as well. Does whatever.
Like him?
Yeah.
That's the type of player I like. A good tackler. Runs good lines too.
Look,
very, very, very good. Like if he runs them nice lines near the try line, it's hard to stop.
He's just got that body shape as well. He's awkward to tackle. It's like Jacob Kiraz as well. They just got this lankiness about him, and teams would do their homework on how they need to work on these types of players. Like everyone does their homework, and these young kids who come through, and once they start playing about 20 or 30 games, it gets harder because the teams know what to expect from them. They know what their whole bag of tricks is. They know what they're going to get from them. There's no more surprises. But I look at a player like him, and I think he will just continue to evolve and do what he does really, really well, and adapt to however he needs to for the team. I could see him becoming
captain.
Far more than an edge back rower. But Viliami kick-out's got a lot to do with how our edge back rowers defend. And that's something that the Panthers system and Serrato's defensive system is. They're there to be utilised in attack at certain points, but their whole focus is the work they do in their defence and how they protect the halfback and the 5'8" on the edges, and how they work with that whole edge defensively. And a player like Viliami's been able to come out and crunch people and do those big plays because we've got all these other people buying in that are able to hold the line and make sure that we get that player, once the pressure's been applied to them. And, Canterbury's improvements have all started with the players like Jacob Kiraz coming into the side, Jacob Preston coming into the team. And then you add that quality and experience of players like Kikau and Reid Marnie, who are still quite young themselves. It's turned us into a pretty competitive outfit. But still, I'm not sold that our small ball is going to carry us. It's got to get us to September, first of all, but is it going to carry us through September? And I'm just not sure it is. which, but there's Bulldog fans who want to sort of declare it all now and say we're on the march and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And if we don't, they'll be all the first ones to tear the club down and the coach and the players down as well. So I'm a little bit more conservative when it comes to that, because I can see the growth that sides like the Roosters, the Panthers, the Storm, and even teams like the Warriors and Broncos, I can see that they've got more gears to go through. And if they get their game on, get their players back, we have to not only get all our best players on the field, we have to probably adapt and change something that we're doing at the moment, because games like the Warriors and the Sharks, where we're winning Golden Point, we won't even get close if we don't go up another gear in this run home, where we've got 5 of 6 games. 5 of our next 6 games are on the road. So we've only won 1 away from home this year. That was against the Knights during Origin. So,
and the way they've been playing, that's not really a big win, is it? They've been pretty poor, the Knights. But yeah, I think the Dogs make the top 8. I think teams below them are playing too poor, and I think the improvement in the Dogs from last year to this year, massive.
Oh,
if I was a Doggy supporter, I'd be over the moon. And do I think they can go on in September? I don't. I think they'll get into the 8. I don't think they'll stay in the final series for long. But massive improvement from last year, and that you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to turn a team from down the bottom to go and be premiers. You know, have a look at how long it took Panthers to build their team up. They started as a favourite a few years ago, and they didn't even make the top 8. But they had all this talk about them. But then they slowly just built their way through, and then bang. And now what are they going for now? 3 in a row?
4 in a row.
4 in a row. Sorry.
Which brings us back to, I think,
and prior to that, they started off as favourites in the market and didn't make the top 8. And I was like, why are they favourites? So there was people obviously knew what was going on there.
I think that's 29.
It took them a long time. It took them a while to get there. So to turn around from where you are now to, 12 months ago, Doggy supporters were on suicide watch. They weren't happy. Serraldo, he was a wanted man. But yeah, he's turned the football team around big time. And the signings, I think your signings were fantastic. Crichton's been the signing of the year.
Yeah.
And
Curran.
I still think Crichton's made a massive difference. And you probably all heard in the, I've never been a massive fan of him, but it's not, not because of his football or anything. But you heard in the media, after Origin, he was in the gym at 5 a.m. Bang, getting ready to play for the Dogs. So that to me, you just look at that and go, mate, that's the type of player you want. Yeah, they've just belted a team in Origin and bang, he's in the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning. And yeah, that's the type of player you need. And he's got him, and he's been fantastic as well.
Well, he's a bit down on his running meters, but, he's in a team which isn't making as many meters. And, statistically, his points are down by about 12 points from the last couple of years. But as I said, it's a lot to do with his role.
He's not playing. He's not playing with the Panthers, mate.
Exactly. His role's different. And,
he's never going to get the points that he was at the Panthers. Because you don't have... You're not a number 1 team. That's just reality. when you're in a number one team, there's going to be certain stats, like the point stats. You're going to be higher in try scorers because you've got the likes of Cleary and Luai and all them players. You don't have a Cleary in your team.
That's it. Well,
that's just reality.
We've got a lot of chat. We've got a lot of chats on here, mate. I want to reference a few. Dave made a message 20 minutes ago. Love to see Papali get a run off the bench this year. So he's talking about Joash Papali, who's just come back. I think he's 2 or 3 weeks back from having his ribs busted in a New South Wales Cup game. He I think he was playing 5'8" last week, although he was named at fullback. They had Hayes playing fullback again, Hayes Perham, who's been going all right there while Joash was away. Look, I'd like to see him get a run. I think this year may be beyond, but I don't know that. I hope he does get a chance at some point. It'd be good for Canterbury to be in a position where they can say, let's bring him up into the top 24. Let's have him there as 19th man, maybe with 2 rounds to go, and then the last round, let's give him a run off the bench. Because he has come on as a utility in New South Wales Cup. He played off the bench for New South Wales under-19s last year. So I think that's not a bad call, Dave, and I'd love to see that as well. Good to see a young local junior who just loves rugby league, loves Canterbury, get an opportunity. He's the type of player that teams, clubs will look at. If he's unable to knock that door down, he could find opportunities elsewhere, and that would be a bloody shame. But I think Joash Papali, the Dogs know what they've got under their bonnet there. So we'll see what happens with that. Timmy says, who are the favourites for the Spoon? Who are your favourites, Daine? Who do you think's going to win the Spoon this year? In 20 seconds.
Tigers.
I think the Eels are going to win the Spoon.
But the Eels will give it a good shot. They'll give it a good shake.
Yeah, I think the Eels will beat it. It's the Tigers are probably favourites for it. But I still don't. I see the Tigers are not far away from where Canterbury was last year. They've got enough decent players in their side and enough speed and enough talent in the youth.
They get nothing. They get nothing though. The poor Tigers, they never get the 50-50 calls. Never go with them. They
don't.
They're just one of them teams that I swear the refs don't like. It's just anything 50-50. They never get the right calls. It's pretty sad because they need the right calls to do it. But they can play some good football.
Our referees are so momentum based. So the team that looks like it's going a little bit better, the Tigers will be hanging on, and then they'll get pinged for hanging on too long. Whereas, you know what I mean? And then they'll make another set, and they'll defend 2 or 3 sets, and they'll look all right in their first few. Canterbury was like that all for the last half of the season last year. I don't think they're too far away, and Jerome Luai going to that club is going to make a huge difference. And a player like Adam Dewey, if he can stay fit next year, and they've got enough talent in their forwards, and this Oitika Manu, I hope they don't.
Player.
He is a good player, but to have a thing in his contract, if I don't make Origin, I can shop around. I'm sick of that shit. I don't know why clubs have put up with it.
I don't think the Tigers have really got a choice though at the moment. They're sort of at that. They've got to sort of get these sort of type of players.
Well, they developed him everything for him.
But I don't like it either.
The Tigers have got one of the best junior systems in the comp. People don't understand that. They lose. They could name 2 sides that could win a comp from the juniors they've given to other teams. All right. So, I think Eels or Tigers. I think Eels, they'll both have some wins on the run home. And, it's, we'll see what happens. Brad Graham, those cars, houses, and those brown paper bags are working a treat. That's in relation to the Roosters comment, Daine. 100% agree, Brad.
Yeah.
Eels versus Oh, Timmy said not long after that, Eels versus Tigers round 27, the Battle of the Spoon. Lakeside, Dogs versus Cowboys. Now we're talking. All right.
Yeah, it should be a good game, that one.
Yeah, Vallejo is from the Warriors. Yeah, sorry, I got that wrong, Timmy. Kraz is the new Haslam without the goal kicking. I think
he's better.
Well, look, Haslam was great. I loved Haslam. I actually watched Haslam in his only Origin game up here in Queensland. New South Wales defended for the first 15 minutes and we won the game 18-4. So we had already lost the first two games of the season. I think that was 2007 maybe, 2008. But that was Haslam's first and only Origin, and and they won. So that was good. But Jacob Crows, I think, is an Origin player. I think he'll get picked in Origin at some point, and I think they'll keep picking him. But in saying that, I thought he should have got picked ahead of Lomax, but I was being very impressed with what Zach Lomax has done in the Origin arena. I will say that. Lakeside likes our bench. Yeah, I don't mind it, but I think Curran may end up starting off the bench and Powasa might start. And we might see a change after 15 minutes. Like Sam Hughes just has to play. They've slowly brought Sam Hughes through the season. He's played some long minutes in games. They've then pulled it back a little bit at different times. They're playing the long game with these forwards. They know they've got to develop them into strong, tough, athletic middles that can play long minutes. That you can't just sit there and expect them to develop overnight. They've got to develop them properly, and I think they've done a great job with Sam Hughes, and this week he has to step up. Timmy, it's a strong bench. Brad Graham, a New South Wales Cup team plays Para on Friday. Oh, does it? So, look, yeah, so they've got to have players play that game. Well, that'll give us a huge indication about who's playing on Sunday. So they'll need to make the decision. But if there's an injury, they could fly someone up and back up after New South Wales Cup.
It's not a long
Trevor, g'day, Trev. Nice to meet you, mate. Thanks for joining the podcast. Harry Hayes is close to a bench spot. Yeah, I agree, mate. And on the All Things Bulldogs Facebook page, Pete Webber actually did a little shout out to Harry and said he could be a chance. And I think he'll definitely be up there. And but for me, if he comes in, they're probably got to drop Hopboy or Howard or Hayward, and I don't see that happening. I think the phase 3 is we need to bring a bigger forward into that rotation. And hopefully we'll see the big fella Daniel Saluka Fafita we got from South. He makes his debut. He might be making his debut this week in New South Wales Cup. I'm not sure. Don't even know if he was named there this week. He was named there last week but had a family issue. So we'll see what happens with him. But we played Cowboys in the last round. We certainly do at home.
That could be a good game, that one too.
That could be a game which decides the positions in the top 8 or if a team makes it or doesn't make it into the top 8. We play Manly.
Or maybe a top 4.
Who knows? Both teams have got a big chance of making the top 4. I will say that.
Bloody hell.
I've got to go back to a comment that was asked about, I think Timmy spoke about the Sharks smashing the Tigers by 56-0. Timmy, I actually expected that sort of blowout result. Daniel Atkinson, there's nothing timid about him. He's come into the halves. Nico's gone out. Nico was playing. He was doing some things all right, but he was playing a bit timid. He just wasn't committed with the kicks. He wasn't committed with everything he was doing. I mean, he wasn't going at it 100%. Like there was something was holding him back. I felt that in Origin 1. From the first kick to the last play, he just wasn't playing like a confident, aggressive player. Whereas this Atkinson for the Sharks, he is an absolute he's just a little goer. They can play him anywhere in the back line, and he's just a player that will give it 100% every game. And I think that'll with the Sharks are going to give him
the ball too.
He can run the ball.
He don't mind running it.
Well, the Sharks are going to give him a platform, and he's not going to. And the thing, he looks like a player. If he kicks it long, he's not going to worry about it. He's just going to he'll have another crack, you know. Whereas Hines looks like he was carrying. Nico Hines was carrying his divots. You know what I mean? That's what I just felt. And I think a lot of people have sort of said that, and all the media are all over him. How's Nico going, man? Like, who gives a fuck how Nico's going? Great guy, great player, but wasn't playing well. And really, I think Atkinson, if you're basing it on form, is the better form half for their club. So I had to talk about that. Timmy says the last time we won 3 games courtesy of a field goal in succession was in 2014. Sure was. Trent Hodgkinson, the original Iceman, before Nathan Cleary. So there you go. Good call out, Tim.
What happened that year?
We made South Sydney.
Yeah.
They decided Souths had won the grand final before we shouldn't have even turned up.
You shouldn't have turned up.
There's no point.
No.
Trevor Cowler, our attack has been orderly, but defence is still strong. Trev, I'll tell you something about attack. Canterbury have the lowest at the start of the season. Our players averaged 2.7 games played together as a top 30 squad. That is absolutely was miles behind the next worst team, which I think was. I don't know who it is, but when it comes to attack, if you don't have cohesion, that is the hardest thing to develop. Now, it's hard enough defensively. I think they've the fact that they got that confidence by having a player like Drew Hutchison being able to stop big men running near the line and having much better defensive centres in our side and, you know, just having more workhorses in the team. It enabled them to develop more confidence, which has taken us a long way. And then they've been able to bring the players like Sexton in, who have added a little bit more flair and attack. And you've got to remember, we don't have the Fox at the moment. Like, the Fox is still equal second in line breaks, average line breaks per game.
I forgot about him.
And he's still top 5 in line breaks for the season in the comp. And he's only played 8 or 9 games in the whole season. So our attack was actually not as bad as what a lot of people make out. We've been grinding our way. There's been it's like Serrato's had this. It's like they've been told, I want you to play a bit more footy, but if you're not winning the moments in the game, fucking quick play the ball in the 4th or the 5th and a big kick from Burton, you know, and then take your opportunity when you get it. Our attack is something that's got to develop over time. It just can't. It's too much to expect a team with 10 new faces and all these juniors they're bringing through to actually, you know, be a really great attacking side. But they've shown me more than I expected in attack, but 10 times more than I expected in defence. So they say defence wins premierships, mate. Defence wins premierships, Trevor.
Have they been blown off the park at all this year?
No.
No, I haven't. I can't recall them getting belted.
Look,
you know, I know they put a score on. They've put a score on a couple of teams, but I don't recall this year them getting flogged.
We haven't conceded over 30 points in a game.
Yeah, so that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I think the Rabbits were conceding 34, average of 34 or something, 32 points a game or something.
The Sharks and the Warriors, the ground that we've actually been the best team at restricted teams meters as well. But in saying that, Parramatta in round 1 had like 74% possession with 11 minutes to run over the match. They beat us by 4 tries to 2. Cronulla, we should have led 18-6. Then it was only down. I think we're up 12-6 at half time or 6-all. They beat us by about.
You had an extra player against the Sharks.
No, in the first game, round 2.
Round 2.
Yeah,
I thought you meant the last.
I felt a better play. The Sharks and the Warriors, I felt both ran through us. too easily. And, you know, the fact that we won both of those games is phenomenal.
You didn't look like the same team. Them last two
The Roosters
at all.
The most dominant performance against us was the Roosters when we lost 26-8. We fought hard, we tried hard, nothing really went right, but they were at a higher level than us in that game. Both teams with best sides on the park. That's what you should expect, but you know, I still think the Dogs have got enough in them to beat a side like the Roosters. They just seem to have these vulnerable points in their game which come out all the time, which shouldn't.
Both teams play at their best. I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. But they seem to just go. They seem to have that. Like they lost that game to the Cowboys. The Cowboys don't get enough credit for that win because the Roosters had a good side on the field, and the Cowboys were actually missing some players, and the Cowboys beat them. They just seem to have that performance in them, the Roosters.
Yeah, Timmy's wrote something there.
I'm not worried about our defence, but our attack has been ordinary the last few weeks. The Cowboys beat Panthers last start away from home. Yeah, the Cowboys had some big.
They both had a lot missing.
Yeah.
Both teams had a lot of players missing. I thought the Panthers would beat them. I didn't think the Cowboys could go with them. They both had a lot of players missing. Well,
Cowboys always play well against the Panthers over recent years, and especially when the Panthers don't have Nathan Cleary. And I don't think they had Nathan in that game. No. Lakeside, Curran's the best chaser of the kick in the NRL. I'll tell you who else is probably right up there with him, Viliami Kikau.
I was just about to say Kikau.
And both of them lead the charge downs in the NRL, which didn't really help us much in the last game because we gave the ball back twice. We lose Salmon and Preston comes in. It's a very good point, Timmy. Salmon's been unheralded. I felt that he's run a bit wider. He's adjusted his runs. He's still only running 5 or 6 hit-ups a game, but they've been more important runs.
How long was he out for?
6 weeks, broken jaw.
That was disgusting to watch.
For him.
That hurt watching it. That was awful.
But
that hit.
NRL Media Watch last week, I talked about that. That's what's wrong with our game, is that we sit there and we go, Warriors, that we suspend him for 2 weeks doesn't matter because he's out for 6 with a broken jaw. Now, if he got penalised, I would have been fair enough, 50-50 call. It was a little bit late. But an accidental head clash, when he wasn't kamikaze at that, he ran out, he checked his
I don't think there was anything.
And they've just run it and they've collided. When Taylor May ran into Reece Walsh, that was a little bit more kamikaze, but still, I don't think an accidental head clash should result in one player being suspended.
I don't think it deserved it.
Give it a penalty if you want.
It was sickening to watch the contact. And like I said, like you said, it was accidental. But it hurt watching it.
Well, but that's what I mean. It's like, we're going to stamp this out of the. You can't stamp kick pressure out of the game. You know, it's unbelievable. Like even Jared Warrior-Hargrave's suspension last week. He's got 4 weeks. It's probably the lightest head high he's ever done. You know, and the bloke got straight up. But because he's got a rap sheet, you know, I'm just like, they're so worried about litigation from all the concussions. Rugby league players from the age of 16, there need to be all lawyers involved. So, yep, if you play this game, if you're a boxer and you fight and you get brain damage, because they can get brain damage from being hit in the sternum and then hitting their head on the ground. They can get brain damage from trying to make a tackle low and hitting someone's hip. Like, we don't need to suspend players for having accidental head clashes unless they're being like Nate Miles in Origin and literally tackling with the head. deliberately. Yeah, I just think the media and the NRL need to do more to get this bullshit out of our discussion point. So thanks for that, Timmy. You got me fired up again, mate, about Jamin Salmon breaking his jaw and getting suspended for it. But the point you make, Preston comes in for Salmon, just perfect timing, wasn't it? Perfect timing. Lakeside thinks Preston covers Max King being out. Well, it gives us a lot of hope because in Jake we trust, bro. And obviously Daine gave him a big rap before, and I feel the same. Timmy, I like Harry Hayes. He's another Josh Jackson or Prestomania. Well, Harry's got really good Bulldogs pedigree as well. I think there's a little article written about him.
I can't comment on him. I haven't really seen too much. But Josh Jackson was a gun. He was another one of them players. You're right. If he's like Josh Jackson and Preston, I'll like him.
Well, I think Preston's a lot like Josh Jackson. So there you go. We've got another one. But Harry's come through as a centre back rower who's just got a good attitude, good bloke. He's tall and fit. And he's going to be an NRL player, and they know it. Love Preston too off the rock, close to the line. 100%. And Reed Marnie finds him all the time, doesn't he? Hutcho found him a good one too.
Who finds him?
Reed Marnie.
Oh, makes me shiver.
G'day, Veljam. Nice to see you, mate. Hey, fellas, I actually think if we get to the finals, small ball will serve us well in the finals. I hope you're right, mate. Like, I'm praying that this small ball has just changed the dynamic of the comp. I do feel, though, that the big men are going to they're going to find something over that period, you know what I mean? Like, I look at a player like James Fisher-Harris going, what's this small ball bullshit?
He's a good player, isn't he?
He is. But at the same time, every team's looking at Canterbury, as Jammer was saying at James Graham the other day, they're all looking at Canterbury going, we're going to run fucking rush shot over these Bulldogs. Look at them. They've got Bailey Hayward playing lock, taking 18 hit-ups. He's 87 kilos and about 4 foot high. Sorry, Bailey. I know you're bigger than that, but, and the Dogs just keep winning. Depends on how fresh or bruised our forwards are coming to the end of the season. I'm concerned we don't have the forward depth. Well, you're right about that. We don't. But in saying that, it's handy to have players like Liam Knight, who's played pretty well last week, I believe, in New South Wales Cup. And I think if he can come on and not drop
the ball.
Mate. He could be primed for a performance for us when we need him. And the same with Chris Patolo. Chris Patolo, if he didn't get injured, I believe would be a premier forward in the game. But unfortunately, he gets injured all the time. So we could say that about a lot of players as well. But if these players are hitting their straps, Katongi Kataga, who missed that tackle in Melbourne, cost us the game. He comes back into the side, primed to go. These players will be fresher and they'll be ready to go, hopefully. But hopefully they get a bit of a run beforehand. Jared Sutton's reffing. Oh, no.
Have you got another buy up your sleeve?
No, we're done. We had ours just... So us and the Cowboys both just had a buy, but they've got another one up their sleeve.
Yeah. Who's got the buys left?
The buys still left. I think the Broncos, Warriors, Cowboys, Roosters, a whole bunch of them. There's about 8 of them. Mike Cool, hey fellas, hope all is well. Just met Bailey Hayward and Carraz at the Canterbury Leagues Club. Fantastic people. Well, mate, Mike, next time let me know. And what I want you to do is to send a message. I'll send you an invite. And then you can come on your mobile phone and get them to say hello on the podcast. Because I wish I was at the Canterbury Leagues Club, the best leagues club in Australia. Lakeside, Sutton referee hell gets cows, eh? Look, he actually helped us against the Sharks. I will say that. I felt we got the better 50-50 calls from Jared Sutton, and we won a
You had
game
an extra player that night.
Nah, we got some of the 50-50s.
Extra player.
I suppose when a team's rolling through you, they probably should get a few more calls, is all I'd say. All good, Mick. Only 1L Magic. Still love the Shiraz. He's such a humble guy. Yeah, what a champion, mate. Pour me some Shiraz for Karaz. Oh, Brad Graham just bought a $5 super sticker. Oh, thank you, buddy. I need it. That'll go straight to the little girl. Me little daughter, who's 12.
Oh,
Thanks, mate. Ross, how's Carla Lawapu going? Well, I'm just regurgitating what Gus Builders said. He started training with the boys again. He's around the club. He's training, but he's still a long way away from playing and still indefinite about whether he plays again. So the pressure's off him. He's in with the club. He's doing a lot of study. He's doing a lot of work, community stuff. He's out there being a great representative of the Bulldogs and trying to get him and his career going again, Ross. But he's another youngster who could, comes into the conversation, who'd be suited by the way that this team's been playing. Because he comes into that ball playing lock role, you know what I mean? Brad, we let go of Zane Tedavano and have essentially freed up a top 30 spot. So who goes into that spot? I'm not sure, Brad. I think there will be a signing. It's without being disrespectful, but I don't think we'll see Hayes Perham staying with the club. I think they're trying to showcase him as much as they can at the moment, and he's in pretty good form in reserve grade, so probably trying to help him get himself a position somewhere, but you never know. Gerald Skelton, I'm afraid, is going to be gone, but hopefully there's a spot for him. Obviously, we've brought Tupanua, so I think there's 27 or 28 spots already filled for next year, and there's not much room. Toby Sexton's with us for next year. A lot of people said he was off contract this year, but he's told everyone he's got a contract for 2025. So I really don't know, Brad, but I'm going to look at who we could target and who I think we should go for. My target list was Josh Curran, I think Cody Nicarima, who plays well for the Dolphins, and also said Luke Metcalf, except he gets injured all the time, but the Warriors have missed him a lot. And there's a couple of others there that I wanted as well, Spencer Leniu and Terrell May. Timmy, Atkinson has been in the Storm system. My concern is, are they still challenging for the premiership? Timmy, I think the way they play, they can challenge, but it's going to come down to whether their halves can take advantage of the platform that they lay. They've got, in my opinion, a really good pack of forwards and a really good back three. I look at them and the Warriors and the Panthers and the Broncos, and the Storm, teams with all those positions where they can make the yardage. All they need to be able to do is give that they need their halves to be able to take advantage of it. And if the Sharks halves
they've lost their front rower, haven't they?
Who's that?
The Storm, the big fella.
They lost Nelson.
Yeah, I'm sure he's. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm sure he's out.
I'll have to have a look.
Have a look. I could be wrong. I'm sure he's out. Someone can confirm, surely.
Welcome back, Pete. It's taken a while to get to you, buddy. Need a big effort from Pias with King out. Going to be a hard task. They'll have some Origin players come in. Presto needs a huge game. Yeah, well, hopefully.
Yeah. Good.
Well, I don't think there'll be a change to the 17. I really don't, unless Harry Hayes will be a chance to come in. Skelton could be a chance to come in. And I think those are the only two that could play from the 17 they've named, Pete. And I think that young Lipoy, Hopoy, and Palasa are going to have to play 40 to 45 minutes between them. And hopefully they're up for it, because Palasa's been doing some longer minutes in New South Wales Cup, so he should be pretty fit. For and against is far superior for the teams outside the top four. Yeah, it is. Which is going to, and again, Tim, the Sharks have got a really soft draw comparatively to a lot of these sides. Read the Sharks. How about Cronulla F fullback getting a week for a ref contact? We get a try disallowed to kick out for Trindle running into the ref. Just think it's funny how the refs view you when you're not winning. 100%, mate. Very good point you made there. I think Daine would agree with that. It's just the inconsistency. We would have led 12-0 in that. We should have got one on the edge as well in that round 2 game. That's what you're talking about. And I think Daine had bet on Viliami kick out a score in that match in round 2.
I
remember
did. It cost
they
me,
disallowed the try. That's right. It cost you
about
$1,000
$1,400 or something. Yeah.
1,400. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you just unleashed the demons, Veljam.
No. You know, the bunker has cost me thousands this year. Thousands.
You know what I do?
Nelson's out till round 20.
I don't bet on the footy.
He's out until round 20, Nelson.
Oh,
With a
wow.
hamstring. I just looked it up.
Oh, that's only next week or something.
Yeah, so it must have only been small. They've got a lot of injuries.
They do.
Coates is out till round 23 to 25.
I'll make one point. On NRL 360, I've actually been enjoying it lately because Buzz Rothfield, I haven't had to do anything on him because they've just been hammering him. Last night he said that Jason Ryles should have to leave the Storm now because he's got a job with Para. There's no way that he could keep working for the Storm. And Gordon Taylor says to him, "What are you talking about?" Well, Wayne Bennett just got a job with South Sydney. And he goes, "Oh, except for Bennett." And then he goes, "But what about last year? Shane Flanagan was the assistant at Manly and he signed to go to the Dragons. You didn't say he should have got sacked from Manly." So fucking Buzz got all embarrassed and stopped talking and realised that he'd fucked up. It was great.
You don't like him, do you?
Sometimes I do. I feel sorry for him because he's such a fuckwit. Ed Mobin. G'day, how you going, mate? Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on for the podcast. Our first 2 games are the worst ones, and then the Roosters game was 26-8. Yeah, I'd have to agree. Pretty as far as the score lines go, yeah, definitely. That Para game in round 1, we dropped the ball. Taft dropped the ball, and then we didn't get it for fucking half a game. Yes, Roosters game was the worst in Gosford. You're right about that, okay? How good are him and Zeri as a combo? Well, Trev, I agree they're good. I think that they could be so much better. It's like a couple of times they've had the opportunity to help each other out and haven't. And blown a couple of tries, but the amount that Storm game, we saw how, Bronson Cherry basically did what Bradman Best did with the Fox in Origin Game 3 last year and just was able to put him into a space and get him the ball, which is half the problem with the Fox getting him the ball. Mick Cool, I wish I was able to. It was a long line. I didn't want to hold it up with the signatures. Oh, that was the signing at the Leagues Club, was it? Yeah, well, that would be a bit rude. Oh, look, you could get everyone in the lineup to come onto the podcast. It's a rumor about Nelson, but not 100%. Oh, okay. So it was going through the set, and we're second in points behind the Panthers, 240 for the Panthers and 263 for the Dogs. Yeah, mate, second best defense in the comp. And we need to keep that going. because
When
what
you're
it comes
game.
down to, the best two defensive teams in the comp normally make the grand final. So we can talk about Origin fucking up the NRL, and I agree it does to some extent. But the best two teams generally make the final over a season. So there you go. Good point, Sayed. Sorry if I'm not saying your name right, mate. How good's that? I got paid. I got a $5 super sticker.
Yeah, that's cool, mate.
Thanks, mate. We'll have to pay Daine about $50 to come onto the podcast. So
I'll send me bank details to you, mate. I'm usually the one paying you.
You didn't have to do that, mate, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think that's the second one I've got, actually. So I reckon we beat Penrith in the prelim and we play the Roosters. Well, history says, Mike Cole, history says that the last team to win 3 premierships in a row was Parramatta. Canterbury beat them in 1984 when they were trying to make it 4 in a row. So if it's Canterbury versus Penrith in the grand final, get on the Dogs. There's so much other stuff happened too. Last time Spain won the Euro, Canterbury won the grand final.
Yeah, right. There's a few things going around about that too, about at the start of the year.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the Euros, it was about something. Was it 10 years or something? Or there was something, and it was for you guys to make the grand final. Every 10 years or something like that.
Mate. Fuck. I'm not used to people giving me money. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Look, we're all here for a chat, and if anyone wants to come on and join me and Daine and have a chat and tell us about your story following the Bulldogs, let us know and you can come on. Bloody brilliant. I'll get back to VGM. I'm a little bit thrown by that generosity. Thank you so much. Blake Wilson's a talented player, but I reckon Jack would have burnt the Warriors' chasers a couple of times on the left edge last game. Yeah, well, I think that Blake Wilson, we haven't seen the best of him. He had a fucking great game against Parramatta. Sorry for swearing. But I couldn't hold that one back. But every other game, he's worked hard and he's tried hard, but I just felt he's been about 1% off. And that's all you need to be off in this game. That's it. That's the level that these players play at. Very talented player, and I agree. I think, but there's some other things as well, which there's like a lot that we get from the Fox, but there's some things we lose with the Fox as well. Blake Wilson, Parramatta tried to get him across to their club, and we tried hard to keep him, So very good young player. Wilson. Very good player.
Yeah, I see what you mean. He's been just that fraction off, but he'll be right. A lot of superstitions. New South Wales won in 2014 series.
There you go.
There is a lot of different. There was a few things that were. I don't know if it was end of last year or the start of this year. Might have been end of last year. There was a few things that lined up with you guys winning the comp, and I was like, nah, couldn't come from that far back last year to win this year. But you're not out of it, that's for sure.
Well, the last team to go back to back in the Super Bowl and win 2 Super Bowls in a row was back in 2003 and 2004, and Canterbury won in 2004. So that's lined up as well. Every 20 years we win. Every 10 years we make the grand final. There's so much that's lining up with it. And it's been well documented. There's been a lot of people. Young Winston, one of the podcasts, he's always talking about it. He does a tweet nearly every day. I'm bored. Just a reminder about why Canterbury will win in 2024. You got the Touchline podcast who were doing ads, like their own little commercials about why Canterbury, they're actually really good fun to watch. It's good watching those guys with their vlogs at the game, just watching them lose their shit at the ref, and just so typical Bulldog supporters. I love it. Dave, are you sending people footpicks to get all this coin? Oh, mate. I will.
Listen, guys, have you seen his feet? You don't want
You
him.
know what to see my feet, mate. The beanie. That's it. The beanie. And here we go. Here you go, boys.
Put it back on,
No,
mate.
I really appreciate it, eh? Like, I can't believe that. That's amazing. My missus is going to be bloody... She loves stuff like that. She'll be like... How's that happen? The number 5. G'day, Oz. How you going, Adam? Good to have you on, buddy. And I'm glad you joined the All Things Bulldogs Facebook page. I saw that. How you going, brother? Glad you're up late. We've got Origin on tomorrow night. Bulldogs Sunday. It doesn't get any better than that, brother. Mike, the content for footy at the moment is buzzing right now, and that's fantastic. Yeah, it's good to see everyone having a crack and loving it. And there's, from Josh Reynolds' podcast, I like listening to the Let's Trot one with the old winger from Penrith, and the Fox gets on there. There's a thread on Twitter with around 31 points leading to us winning the comp. Yeah, that's it, Mike. 100%.
Fair few.
Aussie Prison Talk. Yeah, it's you, bro. I changed it from Aussie Prison Stories because I don't want to be compared to that fool from After Prison Show. Yeah. Keep at it, mate. I'm glad you kept the channel going, brother. I'll enjoy it. Thank you, mate. I rarely get on the lives because I work so much, but yeah, appreciate it, mate. Can we get the likes up, guys? Yeah, like and share. How many likes are we on? I don't know. The Kennel podcast. Old Abdul, I love his passion. He doesn't like me much. He doesn't like the dog father either. Because he says a lot of stuff which is just, I just think, mate, he's just a typical Dogs fan. He loves the Dogs, and he's very professional. He's getting some great people on his podcast, and I'm a huge supporter. I watch him every week, him and Dibbo. But yeah, he doesn't like me much. He thinks I'm giving him a hard time when I'm just disagreeing with his opinion. I didn't like how he come out and started going on about how Serrato putting Hutchison into 5'8". He just went hard at him, and I was just like, and he's like, I'm not going to be silenced about Hutchison and all this sort of shit. I'm not fucking. They're all wearing the blue and white. They're doing the best. The coach picks them. They might, and they're there for a reason. And Canterbury haven't done as good as they've ever done for a long time. And if anyone woke up at, was told at the start of this season that Canterbury would be sitting in 5th place after fucking 19 rounds and 2 points outside the top 4, and played and won some games, some of the games they've won this year and some of the performances they've had, and to be the second best defensive team, as Sayed pointed out, you'd take it every day of the week. But then you get some of these podcasts and some of these fans, they forget all that. It's like, nah, we're the best again. We're the best. And nah. And every loss, they're straight on it. Like, there's this fool on Facebook who I won't name him, but every time we lose, he doesn't say anything when we win, but every time we lose, he starts going on about Serrato's this and that. And I'm just like, fucking, but, it doesn't matter who's not in the team. Let's support the team that's there. We can have our opinions. That's fine, but don't need to get fucking targeted on the audience, on the coach and the players. Like, fucking hell.
I think the coach has done amazing.
Oh, That's
Yeah,
look,
honestly.
I was against him coming to the club.
First thing
I
is
was.
not putting Crichton at fullback, putting him in the centres. That's what I was worried. That's where he was going, and I thought, no
I
way,
love
you
that.
can't put him there.
I
He's
love that
too
he
good
put
at
him
the
in the
centre.
centres.
He
I think he won a lot of people over doing that too, to be honest.
He had to, mate. He's one of the best centres, and he's a massive difference on that edge. Massive. That's he's so much more valuable in the centres than he would be at fullback. Unfortunately, the Rabbitohs won't take the same leap with Latrell because he's better in the centres as well.
Well, it'll take a but it is a hard thing to do. But we've got a number of fullback options there that are ready, that were seasoned and ready enough. Like Taff had played enough games, and I think Jai Gray might eventually move there, you know what I mean? Because he shows he's got the ticker for it. And once they get confident with his voice in defence, he might be the man for them. So we'll see what happens. And they got Bennett coming back. But remember, Bennett's the one who brought Latrell into the fullback role. And he didn't just throw him there. He was letting him play 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, and building him up into the season. And they had a good season. So we'll see what happens there with that. But, yeah, Serrato, I didn't want him to come. But once he was signed, I was on the bus, you know what I mean? Because there's no point not being on it.
Got to be.
And there was times where he left, where in that heat against West Tigers last year, where we were smashing them, but, at Belmore, it's like, well, curse, we couldn't win a game there. And in that heat, he didn't bring on a fresh player and left them all and used only 3 men on the bench and didn't even use all his interchanges. And we only just won the game. And I was like, why are you doing that? And last week against the Warriors, I don't think he used Lipboy Hotboy. But
Warriors would have used him.
Well, the Warriors would have, that's for sure.
Mate.
They needed him. But, he does these things for a reason. And I think in hindsight, he either learned something from it. Sometimes you've got to make a call and you got to go with your gut when all else fails. And we won those 2 games. You can't deny him. I think we've won every game where he's made the decision not to play a player off the bench. I think it's
I can guarantee he's made, done some things that he's probably been smashed about by the supporters, and he's probably learnt from it and went, yeah, I probably should have, like the Heat with in the Tigers game. Maybe I should have used another player. He probably would have learnt from it. You've got to make mistakes to learn from them.
100%.
So I dare
not
say
always going to get it right.
He would have learned a lot last year.
Hope everyone in the chat is doing well. Up the doggies. Let's go Bulldogs. Thanks, Adam. We're 5th on the ladder. Let's trot, baby. Fuck yeah. McCall, real fans are the ones who have supported the Dogs for years, even through the bottom 4 years. Well, that's it, mate. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if you've brought up knowing this team has an expectation to win. You've got to understand you got to read the room and understand that for every club, whether you go through periods where things don't work out, and to get yourself from the bottom to the top takes an immense effort from everyone, and supporting a club is about good times and bad. And I know all the people that have probably said some horrible things about the club and coaches and whatever else and players have still stuck and strong and supported the club. Like, they still support Canterbury at the end of the day. And a lot of them have kept their memberships as well. So, they're just as important. And when we win the grand final, it's not going to fucking matter. I couldn't give a fuck what anyone said against the club when we win the grand final. I'll be just wanting to give them a hug. You know what I mean? Give them a
big teddy bear.
Give them a little bloody, grind and a little ear lick, whatever. What's he say on the 12th man? Giving the Mervyn Hughes. G'day, Brian. How you going, mate? Thanks for joining. I know you're at work. Brian, Aussie guy. That's me, mate, Brian. Very passionate Bulldog supporter, passionate Carlton fan, and a very passionate greyhound owner. Sorry to share that, mate, but you're just an all-round sports-loving guy and has a lot of good opinions and loves Canterbury. And one of my good mates. Timmy, check out the Pet Kennel podcast. Yeah, check it out, guys. It's a good podcast. He's had Abdul I was having a crack at before. I still love his podcast. I love the work that he's done with the website, the Kennel website. And also, you know, they've got their Facebook page, dedicated Canterbury fan. And although I've had some differences with him, I'm a huge fan of their group, and I watch it every week religiously. Except I think they've started going, you know, they were doing records, then they started going lives onto the Tuesdays like I was at Team Tuesday announcement. I've started doing mine at night again. Now they've come on the night again. So it makes sense. My mate Pete said that's what I should do because it's because, you know, people have finished work and stuff and can watch it. And I'm like, oh, that's probably a good idea. You know what I mean? Mike Cool, facts 100%, bro. Lakeside, was Terry Lamb nominated for the Immortals? I think he was. Yeah, I think he was number 8 nominee or something. That's probably a good thing to discuss. Who should be the next Immortal?
Good question. Very good
Ron,
question. Who do you reckon?
I'm biased. If you're naming one, I'm going with the flavour of things, and I'm probably going Steve Mortimer. Terry Lamb, though, is probably just I'm going Terry Lamb, Steve Mortimer, or Brett Kenny. I think they come before. I think Ron Coote probably deserves it before them. And then after them, you're looking at the likes of Laurie Daly and some others as well. I think Jonathan Thurston, Cameron Smith, just like the eighth immortal Andrew Johns, should be getting one in about, 12, 15, 20 years. I think it's too soon for them to be named immortals. And that's just my opinion. But Terry Lamb, he played every game on a Kangaroo tour. You could see how he won grand finals on his own and led that Canterbury side. Great player, Terry Lamb, and an even better bloke. Who do you think?
That's a good question. I haven't really. That's a very hard one.
Oh, we might do a poll or something.
Very, very hard question. God, I don't know. I'm a bit different. They've got to be pretty special to something really special to become an immortal.
Yeah.
Jonathan Thurston, I think he's there.
But it's recency bias.
I don't know as much. I don't know as much as the older players. Can't say I was around or followed a lot of it, but I think they've got to be, Andrew Johns. He deserved one. He changed so much in the game. But Thurston, he was good, real good.
I don't think Johns deserves one yet. I think he should. I think he should be an immortal. I just think there's players that should have been named before him. But see, that's looking at recency bias though. They're in fresh.
And that's what I'm getting at. I don't really know. Yeah. Like I know like Brett Kenny and all them sort of players, but I haven't seen enough of them to make a good comment. I just haven't seen the games to go, like, unreal. You're a little bit older than me, so You seen
Ugh.
Terry? I remember Terry tore the Knights up once, and I was there. I was only a kid. I was filthy on it. I would have been about 7 or 8. Absolutely destroyed him.
Didn't train for
I
that.
was like, I don't like you. But like I said, I was only a kid. But yeah, he was a good player, Barber.
All right, well, let's get through these last few comments, and I reckon we'll wrap it up. Brian says, if New South Wales win Game 3, Critter deserves to be rested and Skelton can fill on Sunday. We'll see what happens, mate. I think that's why Skelton will be there, but they might even bring Harry Hayes in. He can play, although he's been playing edge-back role most of the year.
I wouldn't like to see that against if the Cowboys run out with their best team. It's the competition's so tight at the moment. I would like to be trying to put your best team in. You don't want to be dropping points, but yeah, I can see the point.
The fact that we're playing on Sunday is not a bad thing. We get that 4 or 5 days, but he's still got to travel. He's only coming from Brisbane to which is still a long way.
It's not a far travel.
It's not as far as it would be.
We're from Sydney.
But in saying that, I think Critter's a player they might give a rest towards the end of the season if it looks like we're definitely going to make the final.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's going to want to have a rest, Brian. I don't think he'll want to have a rest. And a good coach is going to let their captain make that decision. You know, and if the captain plays and gets injured, well, then the coach learns that maybe he might need him. Maybe the player will know themselves that they need to have a break. You know what I mean? That's how you learn by example. You learn through mistakes. But I think, he should play. But we'll see how he goes. See how he does go in Origin. We've got to win that first. Aussie Prison Talk, cheered them on every game. Hell yeah, Mike. Me too, bro. Lakeside, dog here since 1974. Grew up in Bankstown. Another team for me, no matter what. Good on you, brother. I'm from Wagga Wagga, 1977, Mortimer country. Adam says, I bet if say Penrith was losing badly and was close to the bottom of the ladder, they wouldn't know what to do, and I bet a lot would go support another team. We'll see, mate.
Right. There's a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon.
They always do, Adam. I think what Gus has done with what he did with Penrith, which was really good, is he found them players that they could believe in, the kids. And this is what's happened at Canterbury, and it's why they got players like the Fox to the club. Like Gus has always been in an advisory sort of role to different people at Canterbury and to the NRL in general. Wayne Bennett's the same. They talk to people, they give advice freely and openly, and they want to see everyone sort of excel and better themselves. And one thing that he said was that the kids in Penrith were all saying they want to be Benji Marshall. Well, back when he went to them, now they all want to be Nathan Cleary. They all love Jerome Lewis. There's a whole heap of Penrith supporters, kids who love Critter. Critter was their favourite, and they now go for Canterbury because they love Critter so much. That's how the game sort of become. They're becoming like out in those western suburbs, and the kids are looking at these players like they're NBA stars, sort of thing. And that's what Phil Gould's sort of vision is with the game, and that's what we get with the Fox. That's what we get with all these with Matty Burton and that. Like the kids in Canterbury are going insane for players in our club, even though we haven't been that successful. It all started the last couple of years. They've made really good ground with that amongst our kids. You know, they went round the bloody and interviewed 100 kids before a game, and I think something like 90 of them said Josh Adokar was their favourite player. You know what I mean? So that's important to a club. But there's always Klingons, Adam, and there's always people who jump on the bandwagon for sure. Like the Broncos, when they start losing, they'll all go to the Gabba and go watch the Lions. The Broncos will lose about 10,000 per game to a one town sort of team, you know, a one team town.
Not bloody Newcastle, mate. They turn up rain, hail, or shine.
Yeah, three fucking wooden spoons in a row, and was still one of the best average crowds. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Michael, last time Queensland won the first game in Sydney and lost the series was in 1994 when we made the grand final. Another one.
Mate, is there in? I'm going to put a bet on that.
I
Responsibility.
just read Steve Mortimer's book the other day, Top Dog. Yeah, what a great fucking player Steve Mortimer was. And, you know, he would not be out of place as an immortal. You know, that vision of him kissing the turf when New South Wales won Origin in 1985. You know, fantastic.
That's when I was born. I don't remember that.
Lakeside's immortals, Terry, Steve Folksy saying right. Yeah, mate. Look, Terry Lamb and Steve Folkes are the greatest Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs of all time. A lot of people talk about Les Johns and that, but you know, Steve Folkes, I reckon there should be a statue. The fact that he was so successful as a player, done it all as a player for Canterbury, won premierships as a you know, running the water like Langer, and won a premiership as a coach. He's done it all, and you know, still miss him. Timmy's been a passionate Bulldogs fan since his grandparents started taking me to the games in 1998. Born in 1989 when I was 3, I followed the Panthers living in the Penrith area. Yeah, mate. That's right. Yeah. Adam says Terry Lamb or Steve Folkes. 100% agree. I agree about John's not seeing him as an immortal in front of some other players. I think he is an immortal. Like, I think a lot of these players are immortals against the what the criteria is. But there should be an order of entry. You know what I mean? But they want to spice things up and bring people in faster than they sort of deserve, and that's a bit annoying. Tim grew up like an MG and then fell in love with the Hughes brothers and Reardon. Oh, yeah, you like Corey and Steve Hughes and the other one, Glenn Hughes. They were the sons of the Hughes brothers, of the original Hughes brothers from 1980 in the 70s. Watching Turvey flick the go switch, the crowd standing up was just magic. He could organise and tackle. I honestly think he was better than Sterling. Well, that's the thing. He was just that 1985 grand final, Valjam. They changed the rules after that grand final because Turvey just kept bombing them and letting them catch the ball and goal and tackle and forcing them to do dropouts for about fucking 30 minutes. You know, he just controlled that game of rugby league to the very end, and the cover defense that he could do, the chip and chase, you know, it was just phenomenal. And he did it from the time he started to the time he finished. He didn't stop, didn't slow down. Broken arm held him back in 1988. Started on the bench in the grand final in his last game. Champion. Great to see you, everyone. Take care. I'll see you again soon. See you, Adam. Thanks for joining, mate. Tim says, thanks, fellas. Have a great week. Go New South Wales. Well, Jam, I saw Turvey at Belmore. He's lightning so quick. Yeah, wasn't he? What a champion. Good on you. It's great to see you all bleed blue and white. People love to jump on the bandwagon. I have the book Top Dog signed by the legend. I've got to get that book, actually. If we stop Penrith's three-peat, then we should win this year and next year like 84 and 85. There we go.
Oh, we got them all coming out. I like it.
That's awesome, brothers. All right, guys. It's gone 2 hours. The time's flown. It's been a really good, good fun. Thanks for the stars. Fantastic. Thanks for coming on, Daine. I know I've talked a lot.
Mate, I enjoy listening, mate. Throwing my 2 cents in.
Yeah.
Bit of fun.
Bit of fun. I look forward to getting a few of yous on soon. Brad will come join again. Whoever, as I said, if people want to come on, let us know and we'll get you on. Even if it's just to come on for 5 or 10 minutes just to hear your story.
Yeah. Get them all going, mate. Get them all on.
Much love and respect to the Bulldogs family. 100% Adam. Mike says, best Bulldog content on YouTube. Love the depth and the discussions. I appreciate that a lot, mate, because you know, when you first make the decision to do this, it's just to have a chat and get stuff off my chest. I used to be a keyboard player and type it all. Got sick of that, so I thought I'd just talk it all. Much love to you, Tim. Much love and respect to everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks, Daine. You can hang around for 1 minute, but I'm going to end the stream, guys. Like and subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Thank you so much. And thanks again for those who give me stars. That was unbelievable. Brilliant. Thank you.
Fantastic.
All right. See you guys. Go the Blues. Go the Dogs.
See you all.
Good luck to Souths, Mike said.
Yeah.